All right, good morning, everyone. I will call the meeting to order. It's March 16th, 2026, 9 a.m. This is the Manistee Blacker Airport Authority meeting. First thing is a roll call. Who's going to do that?
Sure. Jeff Dance.
Here.
Mr. Becker.
Here.
Mr. Shader.
Here.
Did I say your name right?
Schrader.
Schrader. I'm sorry. Ms. Kaminsky. Ms. Goodman. Mr. Walker.
Here.
Preston Picardi. Okay.
All right, thank you, Susan.
Yep.
Approval of the agenda. We have an agenda in front of us. Everybody had a chance to review it?
Any changes?
No, I don't have any.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second. Are you guys okay with going when you're scheduled?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, all those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, great. Public comment. Anybody online? I see Ben, I see Stephanie, I see, is that 723 us?
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, nobody in the room, so going once, twice, no public comment. All right, update from Contour Airlines. Good morning, Ben. How are you this morning?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me on the call today.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Am I just good to give a quick business update for everybody?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So a couple data points that I wanted to share with the team here. First, from a commercial perspective, so everyone's aware. Just a couple weeks ago, wrapped up February numbers. Was encouraging to see those up a little bit year over year. Last year, we flew about 690 passengers into and out of Manistee. That number was up to about 710 this year. March and April, for whatever reason, are looking a whole lot better, which is encouraging to give the group a feel of where that stands. At this time last year, we had about 665 people on the books for March. This year, we're sitting at 956. So about a 40% increase, which is great. And April seems to be trending the same way. So at this time last year, 305 people on the books, and this year we're sitting at 530. So, significant double-digit increases year over year, which is an encouraging thing to see. I think as people get familiar with the product and in the market, we're getting a lot more traction. Operational performance last month was, I think relatively good for us in Chicago. Chicago is obviously a challenging thing for the whole industry. We want to make sure that folks are aware of what's going on there, but we were 80% on time out of Manistee, about 70% in. Both of those numbers are better than what the industry was doing in Traverse City, and we had one controllable cancellation for the month. So relatively good metrics. We are having a slight schedule change. The booking results are looking favorable with a little bit later departure time out of Manistee that we think will be helpful commercially, but hopefully operationally as well. And we're waiting notice from the FAA as to what, if any, adjustments have to be made to the summer schedule, given some of the operational constraints that are happening industry-wide in Chicago. But right now, no plan changes, and we'll do everything we can to preserve the best commercial schedule in Manistee.
Okay, wonderful. Do you have anything for us on our end that we can do to improve to help Contour?
I think one thing maybe to leave with the group is that I know we haven't, not everything's been perfect by any stretch from an operational side, but we have put together relatively strong numbers recently, and we're trying to work together with some of our partners to get that message out in the community. So that might be something I'll follow up with you on, Miles. And then something else just overall from a business perspective that I wanted to leave with the group is that we've been public about the introduction of JetBlue as an interline partner. We're excited about that. We also are going to add Delta as an interline partner as well. And so that'll facilitate connectivity over Chicago. If there was ever any interest in kind of hub reallocation or things like that, that's something that would be, we would be supportive of if that was the desire of the community.
Did you say hub relocation, like go to Detroit instead of Chicago?
Yeah, not suggesting that, but just to know that that's always on the table for the community if that was something of interest for some of the frequencies, or obviously it wouldn't have made sense without a Delta partnership. When you have a Delta partnership, it might change the calculus as to what could make the most sense for the community.
Okay, great. Ben, I know we went back and forth, a little bit of follow-up on fueling in Manistee. I just wanted to make sure we were clear. Our hope was that would loosen some things up for you guys operationally to be able to get fuel here instead of wait for a tanker in Chicago. So I think everybody's on the same page now, and I guess we'll kind of close the book on that. If there's anything that comes up on that front, please let Miles know, and we'll keep picking at things to give ourselves the best case here. So.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for providing all that information.
Yeah. All right. Anybody from the board have anything for Mr. Munson?
Would you mean adding a destination or changing from Chicago to Detroit?
I wouldn't recommend leaving Chicago, and it's just that if there was an interest in adding Detroit as well, that's something that we could look at. So with our agreement through the Department of Transportation, we're capped at the 12 flights per week over the course of the year. So it has to be a reallocation of some frequencies. But if there was an interest in the community of us doing that, we would of course be supportive. We could at least run that down and see if it could make sense.
Good.
Anybody else?
I can tell you, I flew it on the 7th from Chicago up here, and 18-minute taxi and 35 minutes from wheels up to wheels down. It was nice. A good flight.
Well, glad to hear it. Thank you.
All right, Ben, we'll keep in touch. You're welcome to stick with us through the rest of the meeting, or if you've got other things, we won't be offended. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I'll probably drop off, but I hope everyone's doing well and staying warm. Have a good one. Bye.
You too. Morning, Barry. All right, do we have anybody from Enterprise? No? Okay.
I texted, I'm not gonna response yet either, so.
Okay. All right. Miles sent out the minutes for the February 9th meeting. Hopefully everybody had a chance to look through those. If there's no changes, I would look for a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Motion by George,
Okay.
second by Michael. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thanks. Next, we have treasurer's report.
Oh.
Susan, what have you had today?
Many hats today. You can see your February, AP. Let's see. There really isn't anything on here that I'm concerned with. The EAS route, that is the February payment, which has already been paid. January came in and out in February, so, I was able to make that February payment. Do you guys have any questions on any of it? Not, then there is the revenue and expenditure report. It gives you a timeline. Got a picture of where we're at through February, and then also there's a trial balance for you guys. That's just a summary, basically.
Anything tracking out of the ordinary, Miles or Susan?
No, Miles and I are gonna sit down when I get back from my vacay, my all-earned hard vacation I'm taking, and we're gonna project some numbers out and see where we're gonna be at the end of the year. Hopefully our audit, I'll be able to discuss next round. I was hoping to have a little detailed for today, but no draft, so, hopefully next month I'll go through all of that with you guys.
Is that like waiting for news from your cardiologist? If there's no news, it's...
No,
Oh.
no, unfortunately, no. I wish, I think that's like the opposite.
All right, so you need a motion to approve the general fund and...
The AP and the finance.
Okay. So can we do those together? Or
Yep, you can do them together.
All right. So I would look for a motion to approve, the AP and the general, and the revenue trial balance.
So moved.
Motion by Jeff, second.
I'll second it.
Thank you, George. And Susan, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Dent?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Schrader, sorry. Ms. Kaminsky, Ms. Goodman, Mr. Walker,
Yes.
and Mr. Picardi.
All right. Moving on to committee reports and discussion. The executive committee had another good meeting. George, Preston, and I met with Miles. And Miles, would you like to give a brief overview of what we talked about there?
Sure, yeah. So we covered some old business, just a review of the business/strategic plan, still working through, some updates there. Reviewed the NDOT Air Service Revitalization Grant. And then for new business, we talked about this month's meeting, marketing update, Contour, which, Ben kind of touched on, their schedule changes, Eagle Grant and truck cleanout process, the Cycle 1, LRSB 2026 grant applications, a brief update on the FY25 audit, FY26 budget, update on leases and agreements, update on PSC application, and then the T-hanger door replacement project updates. Those are all things that we discussed during the executive committee meeting.
Questions for executive committee? All right, capital projects committee?
George and I met. So old business, we talked about the airport capital improvement plan, which included the T-hanger door replacement project, taxiway alpha reconstruction project, painting and crack sealing. Provided an update on the boiler project and access control project. Touched on the a maintenance program for overhead doors on maintenance garage. That was something that we had talked about at our last meeting in December. And then boiler loop treatment program. So those are all old business. And then new business was the Cycle 1 LRSB 2026 grant applications. And then touched on ideas for the Cycle 2 later this year, 2026 grant applications. Reviewed HVAC needs, talked about fuel tank cleaning and service, runway extension justification and terminal studies, and then parking lot expansion.
Questions for capital project? All right. Budget committee did not meet.
What?
Did you meet?
No.
You wanna
I'm
meet?
sure your heart broke.
You wanna meet?
It's done without me. We might have a meeting in April, we'll see how it goes.
Moving on to old business committee assignments. As everybody was warned last meeting, we were gonna kind of shake a few things up, mostly because I think Preston was on every committee. So capital projects committee, we do have a vacancy, and Jeff Dons, how do you feel about stepping into that capital committee?
Anything to serve, Dylan.
Okay, thank you for your willingness and excitement. So with that, I guess I would like to nominate or appoint.
Yeah, I think it's
Appoint,
appointment,
just
yeah.
appoint.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would hereby appoint Jeff Dance to the capital committee.
Preston on that one,
Yes,
until you're taking Preston off.
yes,
Yeah,
by his own will. He did
Yeah.
nothing wrong.
yeah.
Other than smart, didn't show up for the meeting today.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually when you don't show up, you get.
Right, I know,
Right,
I
right.
told you it's backwards here, it's
Yeah.
backwards.
So I got the chair of the EDC.
That'll show ya.
Go to the bathroom, come back, and boom.
Hey, buddy, congratulations.
You better be good on the capital committee, if somebody close to the money.
All right, so thanks everyone for being involved with the committees and helping us move things along. Any questions on committees? Okay. All right, new business. MS Creative Marketing Services proposal. We have a proposal in front of us, and MS Creative has been kind enough to come to this meeting to walk us through it and answer questions and get to know each other. So with that, turn it
Fair
over to
enough.
Paul.
Well, thank you. It's good to know you all. Acquainted with most of you, but, nice to know the new folks at the table. And Miles and I have had some pretty in-depth discussions, and Karen, just about kind of a reset for marketing, because I think traditionally, marketing for the airport, and not wrong or right, it just has been focused on the airline. And this body only has so much control over those outcomes. There's just so many variables. The good news is the airline just made a nice commitment with the radio station. They're gonna be on basically through October. We did a cash trade deal. It's $2,000 cash, $2,000 trade, which I got them about an 8-month schedule. They're running, I think, about 80 ads a month. And then the trade we're gonna use to execute a to-be-determined on-air promotion. So sometime between now and then we'll come up. We didn't wanna do it during the heart of the travel season because of seats. And it makes more sense, I think, to do the promotion outside of your peak time. Ideally, we'll find something in Chicago we can send people down there for. I don't know what that is yet, but the good news is that as of last week, the airline is gonna be on the air through October, at least locally, and that's at their expense, no expense of the airport authority. So, basically, starting with that first slide, we're looking at getting data together. That's a big part of it. Getting, I think they all have a copy, and if they don't, we can share one. Getting leadership aligned and, finding out what those key performance indicators are for, how do we know what we're doing, and if we don't know where we're going and what we're trying to measure. So a big part of this first step is just kind of getting our mind around how you all feel and then how stakeholders in the community would feel. So our process would start with a SWOT analysis. I'm sure you've all been through this exercise before. It really takes a subjective data approach, talks to you folks because this is your bailiwick, and just sometimes these are just really good to go through just to get everybody thinking along the lines of, where are we going? How do we get there? What can we overcome? What can't we overcome? And taking our limited resources and directing them in a way that we feel we can get a measurable return. But we have to identify what that is, because if we separate airport marketing from airline marketing, it's pretty easy on the airline. We just got off. It's all about enplanements. That's it. You're up, you're down, you're flat. That's it. Why? Well, I think my proposal talks about everything but airline marketing, and not that that's not important, and not that that can't play a role in this, but I also think we have to recognize as a group that that's kind of an autonomous activity that, we can try to profess, but I think we need to be realistic about the overall growth plan for the airport and what that looks like. I also think it's important to do a stakeholder survey. Part of our process would be identifying, approximately 100 members in the community, business leaders. We could be very selective in that, and then doing an online survey with questions that are generated from our SWOT analysis. Because you guys know the airport, you have an intimate relationship with the finances and the operations and all of those things. And I think that helps us develop a survey that allows us to get the information that we're trying to get. So what this market voice survey would do is provide us with objective data. Most of those questions would be on a semantic scale. And then we could take a look at our subjective data from our SWOT analysis and our objective data from our stakeholder survey and mesh those two data sets together. We have other internal statistics that we can look at. I mean, obviously, airline trends are part of that, but also just looking at what other opportunities does this property have to be viable in the long run. And then I think it's really important to collaborate with our partners in the community, the Tourism Authority, the Chamber, the Economic Development, possibly the Community Foundation, because I think all three of those organizations, or four of those organizations, it's important for them for the airport to be successful. And I think it's important for them to have a stake in that. And I think there's opportunities for that to foster some relationships there. So again, looking at, what are the growth patterns? I know Miles is trying to get as a new guy, trying to get his arms around a lot of things right now. We're coming in very objectively, not looking at any, predisposed issues or concerns, but just looking at a clean slate, and really trying to come up with what's that goal? Where are we trying to get? Because without those key performance indicators, how are we going to know a year or two or three down the road if we're making any measurable success? We won't. So I think we have to define what success is before we can achieve it. Pretty straightforward there. We plan the work and we work the plan, and that's not a complicated formula, but sometimes it's good to have somebody like me to come in and keep us on track and keep that plan in place. And we're always measuring, adjusting, and improving. So our first phase would be, getting together with you folks. It would probably be here, or we could do it off-site. Literally putting big sticky notes on the wall, and we just throw stuff against the wall and get as much data as we can. There's no right or wrong answers. There's no harebrained ideas. This is the time for everybody to say, I think this, and I think this might work, and look at these possible, ways to approach that. And out of that, put a plan together that you all would approve. That would have a marketing budget tied to it, which we kind of know what that is, but I didn't want to come in with a big media plan because I would have to make some assumptions right now that I really don't know. And I don't think it's fair to the group to not have all the information before you make the decisions. And then I'd like to look at a 3-year marketing plan. Really this first year is going to be getting, our ducks in a row, if we need new photography assets or video assets or whatever that is, whatever we identify out of our SWOT analysis that's going to help us. And then we would implement that plan and, provide ongoing, strategic consulting and make adjustments and, act at your pleasure. We would be your consultant. So, we understand your budget for the year. I don't think we're going to get into that very far in this planning process. Once we have, some direction from the board, we would come together with a detailed 12-month budget that would actually spend that money out, depending on what the priorities are. Oftentimes, you want to do 10 things and you can afford to do 4. But what are the most viable things of those 4 things? So, it really, the plan is going to dictate the direction, and that's, I guess, where we would start, is with that clean slate. So that's really all I have. I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions. I mean, I don't want to get over my skis and like I told Miles, a lot of times people think us people as marketing people have all the answers. Well, we don't have all the answers, but hopefully we can help find those answers for you, and over time impact the type of change that you're looking to. So, that's really, all we have. If you have any questions or want to dive into anything, we're happy to answer those questions to the best of our ability.
I don't have a lot of intangible things I can add. I mean, we've got a limited budget, and we generally throw up a billboard here and there.
I like the idea of expanding, because general aviation, getting those hangars full we need 10 permanently employed, or what is it, 10 numbers here for
Base aircraft.
based here, and more community involvement with that and getting things going here. Commercial's great, jet service is fantastic, but it's only one flight to one city, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's
Expand everything, yeah.
one of those things too that can change in a heartbeat. Yep. And we could do everything right, and it can still change, and, sure. And it doesn't matter. So I'm not saying the airport doesn't, or the airline doesn't deserve to have marketing support, they absolutely do, but it's also good that they're doing some of their own marketing too,
Yeah,
which
they're
I think it should be. I mean, they should be, they're the ones that are benefiting
It's
directly
their,
from it.
Their best advantage.
So, Mark, Karen, I think pretty much everybody around the table is fairly familiar with you and your work, but for the benefit of the public record, you know, what other involvements do you have with the community, and give us a little bit of your portfolio and
Sure.
share some insight, because you're very connected with Eagle 101.5 Eagle.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, that's kind of call that my hobby. But, well, we've been in business, for 34 years. We started in Grand Rapids, moved to Manistee in '01 to, raise our family. There was a period of about 10 years where I worked with the previous airport manager, Bill House. We had got a state grant from the Michigan Department of Aeronautics to facilitate the marketing. We did that. That ran its course. Locally, we've worked with dozens of local businesses and organizations, from most of the nonprofits in town to, for a long time, we worked with Little River, lots of relationships out there. You know, one of our fun accounts we're working right now is CBS Solar. They're a solar company, and it's been a tremendous challenge because all of their marketing was based on 30% tax credits, which abruptly went away. So when you're writing a value proposition for years and all you're pushing is that tax credit and then it goes away, you have to get creative. And so that's been a lot of fun. Some of the other clients, you know, that we work with, Custom Sheet Metal, Mr. Natural Wood Floors. So we do a lot with the senior center. I mean, it's pretty diverse. Our business is changing a lot. Obviously, social media is a big part of it. That's something you folks have to evaluate. How important is social media? How much effort goes into that? How can that really impact change? Because it's basically constantly generating content, and unless you've got something that's of value to people, it's difficult to just keep telling them the same thing over and over and over again. But you know, we get into all the disciplines of, you know, media management and placement and media relations and, you know, creative services. And, you know, we have a lot of tools in our toolbox that we can bring to bear.
Thank you. Any other questions for MS Creative? All right. Well, with that, I think we'd be looking for a motion to move forward with their proposal, outlined on 4 phases. That's what we're agreeing to as a group. Is that right, Miles?
That's right.
Okay. So I'd be looking for a motion to move forward with it, with the proposal from MS Creative, phase 1, 2, 3, 4.
Going back, weren't we looking at what we were getting for the consulting and/or, remember during our executive meeting?
Sure.
That was one question we had, I thought.
So basically, we can work one of two ways. We can bill at an hourly rate, or we can go on a monthly retainer. Essentially, that gives you 6 hours and change of monthly time. So most of our clients are on a retainer because I don't want to have to be nickel and diming you every time there's a phone call or a meeting. So it really just gives us a bank of time. It's, you know, it's an hour and a half a week of time over the course of the year that amounts to that retainer. And I'm making an educated guess on how much time that would be, but sometimes after a year you have to reset it. It could go up or down a little, but generally for an account of this size, that would be adequate based on what Miles has told me we would need. It just is to cover our time and expense of working on the account.
I'm looking for.
All right, I'll make that motion then.
All right, thank you, Jeff.
Because I think this is more of a search and discover kind of, these first 4 things.
The first year, yeah, this first part of it, and I think you owe it to yourself to do that. I really do. I think there's a lot of information out there that we just don't know what we don't know right now.
Once we roll through this, then we actually come up with a long-term marketing plan.
Correct. Yeah, with your input. Your input is very important.
I would second it.
Second by George. Any further discussion? All right, let's do a roll call, Susan.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Ms. Schrader?
Yes.
Kaminsky, Ms. Goodman, Mr. Walker,
Yes.
and Mr. Picardi.
All right, great, thank you. Really look forward to working with you.
It's gonna be fun.
You're welcome to stick around, or if you
We'll
want
let you do your
to
business.
go
and
shovel your snow.
we'll
you
go do
know.
ours. And I'll be in touch to follow up and, you know, as far as, I don't know if you wanna do that SWAT as a separate meeting. We probably do, maybe we have lunch or something, or we can do it here, or we can do it off-site, whatever is, it's probably easier just to do it here. And maybe we just plan on a couple hours. I don't know if you have a time that, or is it just, you know, per schedule, when that would be, you know,
You just throw something against the wall, make sure everybody can make it.
yeah.
Sounds like a committee assignment.
We'll be in touch, we'll sort it out.
Okay,
Thank
very
you.
good, thank you all.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Be careful out there.
All right, next up, we have, Mead and Hunt contract for runway extension justification, terminal study. And I think we have Stephanie on the call, but Miles, why don't you get us primed up for this and,
Yes, so last month, thank you, Mark.
yeah,
Last month, I had asked the board to, support me in, reaching out to MDOT Office of Aeronautics to redirect the money they had awarded for the Cross Lake Air Service. Cause that didn't quite come to fruition after, multiple rounds of, trying. So the state essentially agreed to allow us to spend some of that money on the runway extension justification and terminal studies. So this is Mead and Hunt's contract to, perform those studies. So, yes, the cost for the work is 100% funded by the grant with no local match. So my request would be to, approve the contract with Mead and Hunt to conduct the runway extension justification and terminal studies and authorize the airport director to sign. So, I don't know, with Stephanie on the call, if she wants to just kind of run through, maybe what the process is and, yeah.
Sure, good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Good
Yep.
morning, yes.
good morning.
Good morning. Basically, it's go like heck with the deadline for the grant. Our team will jump right in, assuming you approve today. And I've discussed with Miles that we'll hold off on any sort of invoicing related to it till you get the MDOT grant. And I think they're looking for only a couple quarterly grants or something, right? Miles, correct me if I'm wrong. So, but the intent of what we're doing is, and I think we've talked a little bit in previous meetings, there's a lot of data collection that we need for both projects, both the runway extension project as well as the terminal expansion project. So being able to bring all of that data collection effort in at the same time will be very beneficial for us to provide that. And then what we'll do at the end is we'll break the information back out then, so you'll have two separate actual deliverable reports, one that will be focused on the terminal building and one that will be focused on the runway justification. That way they can go through approval process with MDOT and FAA separately. There, is some potential as it relates to the terminal building where they might find some things to be eligible, ineligible, and we don't want the runway project to get mired down in some of that discussion. So the studies will actually result in two separate conclusionary documents to facilitate the outcome. And that's kind of it in a nutshell. Like I said, we're going to be running hard over the next few months to get this accomplished by the due date, but do believe that it is doable.
Thanks, Stephanie. I'll just add that, last meeting or the meeting before, we, set aside everything pretty much except for getting the runway on the horizon. So this is that step. I'm excited to see some action moving forward with it, and I think we'll continue to build that good case. So excited to have the opportunity to spend some state money to accomplish our goals. Are there any questions for Stephanie? All right, with that, I would look for a motion to approve, the proposal for the runway length justification terminal expansion study, from Mead and Hunt.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Michael. Further discussion? All right, Susan, let's do a roll.
Mr. Dunt,
Yes.
Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Mr. Schrader, Ms. Kaminsky, Ms. Goodman, Mr. Picardi, Mr. Walker.
Yes. All right. Very good. Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, Miles. Let's see here. Next, we have MDOT Amendment 2 for fiscal year 2025 Air Service Revitalization Grant. And Miles, I believe this is a follow-up so that we can spend the money with Mead and Hunt, right?
That's right, yeah, so the grant agreement, was approved back in 2025. They issued, one amendment, I think late last year to extend the time. So this is just a amendment to change the description from the original grant to reflect the runway extension justification study and terminal study. So, requesting to approve amendment 2 and authorize the chairperson to sign.
So moved.
Thank you, Jeff.
Second.
Thank you, George. Further discussion? Susan, call the roll.
Mr. Dunt,
Yes.
Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Mr. Schrader, Ms. Kaminsky, Ms. Goodman, Mr. Picardi, and Mr. Walker.
Yes.
So the grant's for 200, but we're only gonna spend 124, that's, after we spend that, that's it? Can't use that other money for anything, or?
I think that the remainder of the money we'll spend on, something air service related.
Yeah.
So now that we have MS Creative on board, we can work with them and the Chamber and Tourism to, so I would anticipate, an amendment 3.
Air service, does that mean just commercial, or any kind of air service,
Yeah.
charters, private GA, yeah?
I would say commercial service,
Yeah.
Yeah. Which it sounds like we might have an opportunity with Contour.
For another city destination.
Yeah.
All right, great. Next, we have considerations for requesting congressionally directed spending at Manistee Blacker. This is no action, but we did work with Stephanie to educate ourselves and come up with some materials to make sure that we're on the same page of what it means for going after congressionally directed spending. Inside your packets, there's a 3-page document that Mead and Hunt has put together. Kind of outlines everything, how it works, what needs to be considered, and kind of outlines why we would kind of go for taxiway alpha reconstruction instead of going for the whole kit and caboodle of the runway extension at the same time. Just in layman's terms, basically, we need to be able to spend the money if it gets approved, and we're not really ready to spend the money on the whole project. We need to do some environmental assessments. We need to have our terminal justification study done, runway justification done. So basically, that's why we're taking a step back and going for the taxiway alpha, knowing that that would be part of the whole project anyway. Did I accurately sum that up, Miles and Stephanie?
Yeah, I think so.
Any questions on that? This is great, we're getting a lot of stuff done. All right, next we have application for fiscal year 2027 appropriations request.
Yeah, so this is just kind of in tandem with the previous agenda item. So there's an opportunity to apply for FY 2027 appropriations through Senator Peters' office. The deadline to submit a request is March 27th. I'm working directly with Bill Kennis, the county's grant administrator, putting together a request asking for support from the Tourism Authority and the Chamber of Commerce. The request would be for about $5.6 million and consists of constructing taxiway alpha reconstruction project. With the construction of the taxiway alpha reconstruction project already shown in the airport capital improvement plan and in the pipeline with both AIP entitlement and discretionary funding needed for the project to be funded in FY27. This request is an opportunity to fund this project to be completed as scheduled. Also, the majority of taxiway alpha is the old runway and beyond its useful life. So regarding the runway extension project, once the justification study is complete and reviewed by MDOT FAA, we will know how to proceed with future appropriations requests. So just request the board support to submit a request in coordination with Bill Kennis for funding the taxiway alpha reconstruction project and in response to the FY 2027 appropriations request from Senator Peters' office.
Need a motion for Miles' proposed motion.
I'll make that motion as well.
Thank you, Jeff.
And second it.
Thank you, George. Additional discussion, clarification? All right, so we need,
All in favor, we're
All
not
in favor?
spending anything. Aye.
Aye.
any opposed? All right, thank you. Director and officers policy. This is our insurance policy protecting officers of this authority.
Yeah, so the renewal, that's my understanding, yes. So the renewal, I think, is in May, so there was some time, but we had gotten the renewal letter, so just wanted to present it, and if there was no objection, to approve it when it comes due. Or to approve it now so we can pay it when it comes due.
Okay. Is everybody clear on what this policy's for? So I'd look for a motion to approve our automatic renewal for the director and officers policy.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, George.
Second.
Thank you, Michael. Susan, could you please call roll?
Mr. Dunn.
Yes.
Mr. Becker.
Yes.
Mr. Schrader.
Yes.
Goodman. Ms. Kaminsky. Mr. Walker.
Yes.
And Mr. Vicardi.
All right, great. Next, we have Just Green proposal for 2026 yearly bug shield program. Systematically spray your buildings on 5 occasions between April and September, guarding it against all crawling insects, deterring flying insects. As somebody with an old house, I think this is money well spent to keep this place free of insects and pests.
Have we been doing this in the past too?
We
Yeah.
have, but,
Yeah, with the company's manager as a board member, I just wanted to dispel any
just wanted
conflict
it
of
out,
interest.
Oh,
yeah.
And he's not here to refute himself.
Not here to-
Yeah. Or abstain or whatever.
All right, I would look for a motion to approve this pest control plan.
So moved.
Thank you, Jeff.
Second.
Second from George. Any further discussion? All right, Susan, call roll.
Mr. Dunn.
Yes.
Mr. Becker.
Yes.
Mr. Schrader. Ms. Kaminsky, Ms. Goodman, Mr. Walker,
Yes.
and Mr. Vicardi.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Next we have Cycle 1, 2026 grant applications. Is that for revenue sharing?
Yes. Yep. So just for awareness, I submitted the applications because they were due Friday. So I sent this out, and then the priority list shifted. So our number one request was for the output-based testing related to the ARF truck. It's FAA required when you switch to the fluorine-free foam, which is part of our ARF truck cleanout process in the EAGLE grant. You have to do an output-based test, so this is to capture all the mixture that is, flows through the turret and the ARF truck, to prevent any future, or ideally to prevent any future environmental concern. So that was our number one request. The price for that was, just under $15,000. Our second, priority, was the purchase of the fluorine-free foam, because that's not covered by the EGO grant either. So that was just shy of $5,000. The other two requests, which we'll probably try again, at least just what I'm anticipating anyways in the cycle 2, is new handheld and mobile radio for fire response to be able to reach out to dispatch and communicate with mutual aid response, and then retrofitting the nitrogen tank on the ARF truck with a new actuator, and then purchasing a spare tank with that same actuator for the tanks can easily be swapped out. So with just one, it takes a little while for it to get refilled. So
for the radio, I would recommend you talking to Mike Machen, see if there's any synergy on doing something through 911.
Yeah, I did meet with him. His question was who was going to pay for him. So, but
You are.
Well, it seems to me we buy a bunch of them for the fire departments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think with some time, I mean, there's room for future discussion with the 911.
So where did we land? Are we just submitting the application with the first 2 items, or are we going to submit all 4 and
I submitted all 4.
what's priority?
Yeah. So in the application, I notated what the priority. So for the output-based testing application, I put this as our priority 1 request, and then so on and so forth. So, yes.
All right, great. Good job getting that submitted. Airport Director's Report.
Okay. All right. So just some updates on projects that have been ongoing for a little while. So the PFC application, we had gotten consensus from the FAA on the list of projects. So with that, we published our air carrier consultation meeting notice. So if it's required, our meeting for the air carrier consultation is April 1st. If we don't get any feedback, it assumes they're in concurrence with the list of projects, so there wouldn't necessarily be a meeting. And then we also posted the public notice to receive public comment on our website earlier this month too. So things are moving along with our PFC application number 2. We can still continue to collect on our existing PFC program. So the next step, once our PFC application 2 is approved, which will be a little while once we get the consultation meetings done, then we'll work on amending and closing out application number 1. So federal funding, so T-hanger door replacement, we got all the bids back. And so we submitted all the stuff to MDOT. They requested the grant from the FAA on February 27th. So we're just waiting for that to come in. I'm anticipating late summer, early fall. So if that's the case, I would anticipate construction happening in the spring of next year, so 2027. And then probably in short order, I'll try to think through the impact of that with the tenants and just operationally. So there'll probably be some notices sent out, I'd say in the next 1 to 3 months on kind of what the plan is, but also some initial thoughts on what the impact of that project will be. So 1028, the grading and lighting improvements in the new beacon. So we're continuing to work with FAA and MDOT on the reimbursement for the city water main change order to insulate and the temperature monitoring. So we had sent a email to the FAA requesting another meeting, and still waiting a response on that. Still coordinating with consumers to get us a price for their work. So we're still doing that. And then we're anticipating some work with the electrical aspect to install some manhole covers later this spring. So I anticipate mostly nighttime closures for that. The consumer's work may have some daytime closures, so we'll do our best to work with the work around any operations. So the Eagle funding, so we were awarded $150,000 to remove the aqueous film forming foam, or the AFFF, rinse the foam tank of the truck to prepare for the fluorine-free foam, or the F3, and then plan to bring the grant agreement and Mean Hunt's contract to the board at next month's meeting. And then that would get that project underway. Didn't have any airport incidents or accidents to report. HVAC needs, so last month, I presented a list, so this list is somewhat prioritized, but also added some costs to those, just for awareness, and then we'll need to figure out where some of these expenses fit into the budget, either this year or next year. Some of it, it's time, it's outdated, beyond its useful life, and just hard to access. So, Part 139, so we have live fire ARP training scheduled for the morning of May 11th. So we're kind of working out the details on, it'll take place here, just kind of where, that type of thing. Been working with Sam Kaczynski, is that how you say his name? With Manistee Township Fire. So he's been helping me coordinate with other fire departments, so City of Manistee and Onekama plan to participate. So just wanted to...
You have confirmed that they plan to come?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a classroom part, we'll do that down at so I reserved the conference room at the EOC through the sheriff, and then we'll come down here, they'll do the live fire along with Orchard Beach staff. So the periodic inspection, so we just have to, I've ordered the sign replacements, the sign panel replacements, so just waiting for those to show up, we put them in, and then I send all the information to the FAA, so that should close that out hopefully soon, because it's due by the end of this month. Administration, I've been hounding the GSA for the TSA lease. It's kind of disappointing that it's taking this long, and sending follow-up emails, it just kind of seems like it's fallen on deaf ears or something, I don't know, but still continuing to pursue that. Marketing, so met with the chamber on the vacation mode promo program for 2026. Last week received a note from Nicole that after extensive discussion with other partners, they're going to put a pause on the program for this year and work on clear defining goals for a future program. So, and then as Mark mentioned, Contour was able to connect with Eagle 1015 and agree on some marketing this year. So I thought that was good. Still don't see Enterprise on the call, so I'll follow up with them. 30 rentals in January. I did get the report last week after I sent this out. I think for February they had 40 rentals with 106 60 rental days, I think. So I think they, still continue to do pretty well, especially this time of year. So I will endeavor to have them in April to give us an update on how they're doing.
If they just want to connect with you, you pass on notes.
Yeah. So, I'll connect with them and see how they want to, provide an update. Cause I'm very curious, what they're projecting their summer to be, and just, discuss with them, future growth plans and what success means to them, so. But they do seem to be performing pretty well. Air service update, just some numbers here, Ben touched on, some of them. I thought February, aside from some delays, there's only one cancellation, which I think they made up the next day. So, I thought it was a really good month. Didn't seem to be too impacted by, weather. So we're back to 2 flights. They started that, the first of this month, except, on Tuesday and Saturday, it's just the 1 flight. And then later this month, they're gonna go to, new, flight times. So the morning departure will be at 10:05. In parentheses in my director's report, I put the time that's current, their current departure times or arrival times, just depending on the flight, so. Yeah, and then the last page, just chart, historical enplanement and deplane and total passenger data for, review and consideration, and that's my director's report.
All right. Questions for Miles?
I know once it gets closer to the truck cleanout, we're gonna have to figure out, and take some days for taking the airline.
Potentially, so the UO grant does cover a spare truck.
Oh, that's right.
If it,
That's what we talked about, yeah.
if it's more than 1 day, which I think it will be, we'll need to coordinate with Eagle on that. I did send an email to our cert inspector just to find out, get their thought on, finding a more local resource as a spare truck. I've not received a response from them yet, but we do have some time to kind of figure that out. So we're gonna try to minimize any impact, but potentially, yes, it could, yeah.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Miles. Orchard Beach. Barry, how you doing? You got anything for us?
Good. Actually, I'll start off with a couple comments on things. So on our backup coverage, in the past, when we've had our truck out of service, we've worked with Manistee Township and had them bring a vehicle on site during that time that we jointly worked with. So that's potentially another option.
Okay.
On the GSA, since the original contract has expired now a while ago, are you pushing to kind of retroactively bill them at the new rates from when the old one expired, or are they going to try to get by with paying the old rate until?
No, I've discussed with them the rate change that would have been in effect. Yes.
So as far as Orchard Beach goes, today was supposed to be your introduction to Tyler Weber, but he texted me a while ago. He's stuck on 55. That's out in Austin.
I just saw him walking around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is he out there?
Yeah.
Is it in?
Let me grab it.
One B or 2 Bs, Weber?
2 Bs.
2 Bs.
We have to terrible at pronouncing and spelling that technique. Hi.
How you doing?
Hey, Tyler.
Howdy.
There's the guy.
So, this is Tyler Weber. Some of you, in interviews for director position last year, have met with him previously. For those that weren't part of that process, he is here. I'll let him kind of give a little bit of his background, but as kind of as far as status goes, we've been actively engaged in transitioning since the first of this month. Planning on wrapping that up in May, so it's kind of a transition period at this point. I'm very happy with how this is going. I think he's going to be a great asset to this airport and the community. So, with that, I will turn it over to you.
Yeah, so I think from a few of you and Matt, so I went to Western Michigan, graduated there with my undergrad in aviation. So I started with Traverse City with airport operations as one of the supervisors there, and I was there for about nearly 6 years. Gained a lot of a pretty macro understanding of aviation in the sense of just how the operations work, getting with partners with FBOs, what the FAA does, and how it kind of all works together. I also have certificates with my multi-commercial, so I was kind of working at the flight instruction, becoming a flight instructor, and going towards the education route. After Traverse City, I went to Northern Jet Management, and that is down in Grand Rapids as a 135, so it's a charter private jet, and got to work as trip support. And there, I also bring that insight into what an FBO, how important FBO is to an airport, and how it kind of represents what the airport is, and what the expectations are, kind of where the level of, I guess, where we should be as an FBO, or just how that can bring in new clients. Yeah, so that's kind of the transition there. And then I was also in my at Liberty University right now in my graduate program, to hopefully foster something in the community for the education and bring education and aviation together. And that's one thing down the road that we might be able to work on, and I'm excited to, make it happen.
If you want to talk to West Shore College, I can assist on that.
Yeah. July, I should have my CTE certification through Western Michigan as well. And so I'm looking at, there's a free AOPA curriculum online, that's freshmen through seniors, that can open up opportunities. And that's really something that an FBO can do, such as Orchard Beach. We have the assets, that isn't going to cost any more money to the community, so, yeah.
A couple things you left out that I think are actually also important are a little bit of the military background prior to some of that. And then you also did a little bit of a stint in trying to start your own business in there too. So also all factors, I think,
Yep.
make you very well-rounded, for you.
Yeah, I did 6 years in the Guard, and about 2 years of that was in active status at Camp Grayling. And so that was kind of a good experience overall. And then, yes, so during that 6 years up at Traverse City, I lost my medical. And so when you lose your medical, you can't fly. But I knew there was a way for me to fly. Part 103 is ultralight, so I was able to get back in the air, started a business, started teaching others how to fly ultralights as well, and then ultimately got my medical back, started flying again, starting to pursue the CFI route again, and that's how I ended up back into schools, because I was like, well, I need to figure out a way to make education cheaper in aviation, you know, and it's here at a disposal, so, yeah.
Great. Excited to have you.
I'm
Thanks
excited.
Thanks for being here and introducing yourself to the board. Sorry, half of them are gone, but.
Only 3.
Only 3, we do have 4.
Just a couple other things just on Orchard Beach. I guess I'll kind of segue from Tyler is, to bring him fully up to speed, there's a lot of training he needs to check off. Still trying to coordinate getting him fully ARP certified, so he is the extra person that our contract with the airport authority says that we will be providing. And so, again, that's partly why this transition takes a while to do, is get through all of those trainings. And then operationally, other than this stuff that's happening out there this weekend, it's actually been a good February, and I think that translates into what the airline, their performance also gets significantly impacted by the weather. And, now we kind of enter that transition season, spring, as we move out of this, hopefully, and, into summer busy time. So generally, spring is when Orchard Beach tries to check off a lot of annual maintenance type projects, thorough window cleaning and things like that. So we're putting together that list to check off over the next 6 to 8 weeks, as we kind of are still not completely busy, but yeah, we're out of the white stuff, we hope. And then the last thing I will mention, and this has kind of been a comment that's been going on now a few months, is Orchard Beach is at the point in our contract notifying you that our intention is to notify Contour that they will no longer be able to get fuel here because they're now 9.5 months behind in paying us. As I think I've mentioned, they've paid from September, October, November invoices. They missed one invoice, but that's a different story. But they still haven't paid from May of last year through August, nor December, January going forward. And we've sent them the same batch of invoices now 4 different times over that period, and they still are kind of unresponsive. So just wanted to give you that knowledge that we're going to start pushing on them a little bit harder and kind of some of those negative consequences of that failure. So, any questions for Orchard Beach or Tyler?
No, not for me. We certainly don't expect you to float Contour's fuel bill, so do what you have to do.
But again, it can impact service though, so therefore.
I assume we've had that conversation with Mr. Munson.
All right. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Tyler. The board's available to you, Tyler. I would add, we are not aviation experts. We, we're appointed to this position, so be patient with us. We ask you a dumb question. It's perfect. So glad to have you. Thank you.
No, I'm excited.
All right. Comments by authority members. Let's start with you, George.
I know there's an issue with the hangar payment too with Contour. Was there?
Not that we're aware of.
No, okay.
Anything else?
No, that's it for now.
Michael?
I'm good.
Jeff?
Just a question, I was under the impression that the $100 debit card last summer was successful, and apparently there's been some thought that maybe it wasn't.
Last time I heard, they were just gonna reduce the budget because not as many of them were turned in, so them not doing it is news to me. Probably follow up with Carmen on it.
I will too. Okay, that's it.
Miles? Susan? Alright, go ahead, Barry.
I did think of the third thing that I was gonna comment on, is car rentals. So those numbers that Miles mentioned, 30 in January, 40 in February, to put that in perspective, a year ago, when Victorian was doing it, those numbers were like 2, 3.
Yeah.
It is such a blessing that we have Enterprise here. They are actually a great asset, something not only the airport needs, but the community needs.
Yeah. Great. All right, no further business. I will adjourn the meeting. Thanks, everyone. See you next month.
Thank you.